Hey everybody, welcome to the Growing with Fishes podcast. I'm Steve, and this week we have Rasta Jeff from the Grow From Your Heart podcast. Thanks for joining us, Rasta Jeff.
Thanks for having me, man.
We also have Roger.
How y'all doing this week?
We also have Tommy.
Howdy, everybody. Haven't been around for a while. Glad to be here.
And we had trying to think brain fart today. Sorry, had tons of technical issues right before this show. We also have Mr. Green Jeans.
Hey, peace and love, everybody.
So and we also have Dutch Blooms, although I think he might have stepped away for a minute.
Hey, I'm here. I'm listening.
Oh, so Rasta Jeff, why don't you tell us a little about yourself? We I think first met at the Dude Grows Cup, and I've been a longtime fan of your podcast. I listen to almost every episode.
Man, thanks for listening. First of all, that means a lot to me that people are out there listening. It means a lot that other podcasters are listening. If other podcasters are listening, that means I'm doing it right. A little about myself. I'm Rasta Jeff. I host the Grow From Your Heart podcast. It's a podcast, of course, all about cannabis news, growing, education, conversation. I talk a lot about cannabis growing. My buddy Mike comes over. We talk a lot about cannabis politics. We talk about updates in other states and their efforts in legalization. About myself, I guess, I'm a breeder. I like to breed cannabis. I grow cannabis. I'm a cannabis medical marijuana patient. I like to be involved. I've got a huge passion for cannabis. I'm also a drummer. I saw one of our friends in here had some drums on his t-shirt. Shout out to our drummer friends. I'm a musician and a cannabis advocate. That's a lot about me.
Cool.
So,
we got two other musicians on the panel too, myself and Mr. Green Jeans.
Excellent.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Irie Genetics? You have a whole bunch of different types of stuff available on your website, and you do quite a bit of breeding.
I do quite a bit of breeding. My seeds are not available on my website. They're currently available at dankseed.store. Just a little plug there so you know where to grab them. I do feminized and regular seeds. Right now I'm working with a male that I call King Solomon. He is an Arise male. Arise is Golden Goat and Daybreaker. Arise has been tested at 35.84% THCA by Steep Hill Labs. That sample was grown by our friends at Organitica in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So for a while there, I'm not sure if it's been beaten, but for a while there, we held the record for highest THCA lab test. And I've been using that male to breed to all of my other projects for a little while. So I've got the Morning Dew. I've got Scarlet Begonias. I like to name them after, obviously, one of my favorite bands is the Grateful Dead. Then I've got some things that are named after reggae songs and reggae artists. Then I've also got some feminized seeds. I recently was asked by another breeder who was, he asked not to be named, not to be involved, but he asked me to reverse a plant for him and make some seeds. And as I did that, I bred a few other lines. And so now I've got a feminized line. Those are named Bebop and Rocksteady. And then there's Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, and Leonardo. Of course, some familiar names there that I shouldn't say their gang name, but we all know who they're affiliated with. So I've got regular and feminized seeds available. And I plan to keep on going. I'm searching for a new male now. I think the male is a big part of the breeding. It's really important to have a quality male. So I'm seeking out a new male. And eventually I'll release what I have found, and I'll start sharing pictures of that on the social media. But for now, the new male is a secret.
What do you look for in a good male?
It kind of depends on what my goal is. For King Solomon, I'm a medical marijuana patient. I've got a traumatic brain injury. I hit my head real hard. I kind of deleted a lot of my memory. A lot of my body functions were kind of confused. I found that limonene and terpenoline really help for my condition. So I breed for lemon flavored, sativa dominant sort of stuff. Right now, my males that I'm looking for are sativa dominant. Obviously, they got that sativa dominant structure. They're kind of taller. Solomon is kind of tall. He's real branchy, but he keeps real tight node spacing. So he gets real branchy with little distance between the nodes. So you get a lot of production out of him. I look for a stinky male. It may sound gross, but when I rub the stem on the male, I kind of like it to smell a little bit like puke. If that male smells like puke, I think that's a good thing. I don't like the males that flower really quickly. If I've got 5 male plants to choose from, the first 2 that show me flower usually get rejected because I feel like they're going to put too much of their their potency, their